everybody. I'm Meg. I am Reverend Meg Biddle. I currently serve as the National Coordinator for Ministry Life and the American Baptist Personnel Services, ABPS, here in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. I serve at the American Baptist Home Mission Societies. Today I am joined by my new friend, Kelli Foreman. Kelli is going to be a part of our Space for Grace conference, which is taking place in Kansas City in September. Kelli's going to be one of the presenters. And she has agreed to come and talk to us about herself, about her ministry and life in Kodiak, Alaska. So, Kelli, thank you for joining us and welcome.
Yay, thank you. It's super exciting to be here.
I know we talked earlier, so I am really excited to have you here, to have your ministry, because as I told you earlier, like I'd heard of Kodiak Baptist Mission, but I didn't really know what it was, what you did. I had no idea. So, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, life in Kodiak, and your mission.
Sure thing. Sure. It's kind of a long collude it's a lot, but I am up here in Kodiak, Alaska at Kodiak Baptist Mission. Crazy, but it has been about 18 years since I began here. And that means you kind of play a little bit of every role. But currently, I am the Assistant Executive Director. I am our child care administrator. We have the second largest child care facility in the state that is through us here. I am also here. Most people now know me as the Crazy Goat Lady. I run our grade A certified goat dairy. We are the only goat dairy in the entire state of Alaska, and which has all the other things. We are a full functioning farm that is on this remote, disconnected island. So everything comes to our island by boat or by plane. I kind of joke that during the pandemic, I think I milked goats for the first time because they kitted out. We had baby goats April 1st. And the next time that I didn't was October 13th of 2021. So from April 1st of 2020 till October 13th of 2021, I milked goats every single day before I went anywhere off the island again. So it's a unique place. We have some of the most fantastic kids and parents and community members here. We're pretty diverse. Lots of fishermen, lots of teachers, healthcare workers. Obviously, we have 7 outlying villages, great, wonderful native population, as well as, we have a lot of families that come from the Philippines and Samoa, and it's just a wonderful, unique, diverse place.
So how did you end up in Kodiak?
Right. I am American Baptist, born and raised. Gibbon Baptist Church in Nebraska is where I remember all of my days being. And I was looking, you getting kind of the college age, getting close to being done. And I was really looking for kind of a unique adventure. And Alaska seemed kind of unique and a big adventure. And so I came up to Kodiak Baptist Mission to serve as a summer day camp counselor and just fell in love with it and thought I'd come right back. But with school and all the different things, got to the point of my college internship. And I was like, I'm going to make it back up. So I did my college internship up here. And the person I was interning under was accepted into medical school. So I fell into their position. And the rest is history. Thankfully, my husband came up for a second summer to be a summer day camp counselor while I was here. Not husband at the time. So we met as kids at our ABC church camp in Nebraska, but then met again here. And a year later, we were driving the Alcan up and really have, for the most part, been here ever since. So,
yeah. And Kodiak is one of those areas in Alaska that you can only get to by plane, right?
Plane or boat. So it's
Plane or
an
boat.
hour plane ride from Anchorage or about a 10 to 13 hour boat ride from Homer. So you'd have to drive from, if you were on the mainland, you'd drive to Homer, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive. Then you get on a boat and you come over. So just recently I had my husband, he had to go pick up a vehicle on the mainland. So he flew to the mainland, picked up the vehicle. I had him pick up 3 sheep for me in Wasilla, Alaska. And then he drove the 5-hour drive down to Homer and then put everybody on the boat, and they ferried over.
Okay, so the new car and the sheep.
Yeah, it doesn't go well
Oh,
together.
no.
He drives him absolutely crazy. But I was like, you're gonna be there. I really need these sheep. Like, can you please just bring them for me? So thankfully he does a lot, but we had a few air fresheners. And I said, what better than a missionary driving sheep to Kodiak?
Right.
Like, how
Right.
great is that?
Right. Let's just break it in and
He
bring
didn't like
in the sheep.
it. Was funny. He was not like absolutely not, Kelly. Anyway,
Did you have to did he make you detail the car when?
no, he wouldn't
No.
let me. Like, he's like, I want this done well. So he's like, please just be there when I get there to get these sheep out so I don't have to deal with that side of it.
So how do you do groceries and things like that? You don't have a Walmart down the street, right?
Well, we kind of do. I always say we are remote, but we're not necessarily rural. We have 13,000 people on the island, which includes the villages. We have a simple, Safeway grocery store and then a Walmart. So pretend like you take 20 years back Walmart, and that's kind of our Walmart. Like, if I go to the lower 48 and I walk into a Walmart, I'm immediately like overloaded, very much overloaded. This is a lot. So it's a simple, Walmart and Safeway. And then we have, another little local kind of bulk grocery store where a lot of our fishermen will, grocery shop because they'll be out for weeks, plus at a time. But, where we are at, that's what makes having our dairy here so unique, especially when we get into the winter and inclement weather, or if something happens and we get bypassed by the barge, which will happen. Our grocery stores, our shelves are empty. So our milk is the only milk on the shelves. I always, I talk a lot that we could not supply milk for the entire island always, but we can supply milk for the infants and toddlers that would be without if we had a natural disaster or we were left without boats and plane. Goat milk's a universal milk, so it actually works for babies and toddlers. So it's just a unique milk in
I
that
didn't
way.
know that.
Yeah. So, when all these when the formula shortages were coming, I always encourage people, if you had to, you could absolutely use goat milk. I always encourage people, man, save that for your 6 months and under. But as your kids get a little older, goat milk works as an incredible substitute. So especially, again, on a remote island that's disconnected, having over 98% of everything is shipped in. So having a level of food security, everyone has to eat. It's a universal thing. And so for us to have a farm here that helps provide food security for our island, that's like this incredible ministry that kind of goes under the radar most of the time. We'd like it to go under the radar. We don't want to be in a situation where, we are under a disaster, but we often say, we'll be the pantry if need be, if the need arises.
That's fantastic. And that, here on this remote, but not, 13,000 people, so it's bigger than the town, far bigger than the town I grew up in.
Right.
Yeah, you got a Walmart, but, you also have that you can be that for your community is phenomenal. So just I don't want to say the ministry, but maybe what does a season look like for you? Is it just summer is the
No,
high point, or
that's where it is year round, and it goes. A farmer never stops, and I don't think we really do either. It does. It depends on the season that we are in as to what's happening. So, summer is huge for us. We get tons of light and kids are out of school, but very much at the foundation, we are about, growing up youth and being a stable a stable place for families to grow and learn together, and to grow in really to grow in love. I think we can stop after that, if we can just get love figured out. But so we start, I'm thinking we'll start right now and then move from there. So
Okay.
at this season, I have about 15 summer farm interns that they're all going into the 5th grade through middle schoolers, and they're here Monday through Friday, 7:30 till at least 5:30, and then a lot of them come on Saturday to help with our Saturday market. It is very much a training ground for them where they are just learning, and we love each other. I mean, we call each other our farm family, and we're very much I'm just not connected with those kids. I'm very connected with their families, and just I value and care so deeply for all of them. And then on top of that, as these kids are learning, they're also giving. And so we have our little farm and ranch camps that are day camps that happen, 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours within the week. We have horse clubs that meet in the evenings. And so in the later evenings, some of those farm interns are specialized in horses. And so they work with that area as well. And then on top of that, we run a summer day camp program. So our kids come in for summer day camp that are going into, or 4 years, through 12 years is what our license is. And so they kind of just run the regular summer day camp. We have mission teams that'll come in and do some work for us. That's where, in the middle of that season right now as well. And then on top of that, we do a lot of community events. So every Saturday, we have the Saturday Farmers Market that happens right here, and our campus is just flooded with people. And then plus that, we have, more of the other things that happen. As we go into fall, obviously school starts, and we have a preschool / kindergarten that meets here. And so that we run. Cindy Jones is the lead teacher on that. So we transition into that. The kids go to school during the day, and then the buses bring them back. Or for the middle schoolers, because I have a huge group of middle schoolers, we go and we pick them up from school. And I kind of joke, I'm like, we must be okay, because middle schoolers don't mind getting into a KVM van and still coming. They're like, we're going to the mission. And they all come, and then we run our farm and ranch after school program. And again, I always say, like, these kids can run the show, and they do. And we go through just all the seasons throughout the entire school year together. So these kids are the ones, like, we've just gotten done planting over 300 pounds of potatoes, and those potatoes will be harvested. We'll have potato paloozas. There'll be enough to give to our community throughout the year. And the kids are pumped about, like, this potato palooza that they're going to be able to have. So they are learning how to give back to the community and have community events. They know how to play at potatoes, but they fully understand that these potatoes aren't for them. They're to help supply for our community. We were talking, we talk a lot, and with the war in the Ukraine, one of the things that one kid came and they said, what we heard? We heard that there was this family, and they said they didn't have a lot of food, but they had potatoes and milk, because they had potatoes that they had planted and they had milk from their cow. And Miss Kelly, we have that here. I was like, absolutely we do. It was just a neat connection that they made, that they were going to be able to supply that. So Potato Palooza, we have fall activities that happen. When we get into Thanksgiving, we do an entirely Alaska-grown Thanksgiving feast that we all make. So they have learned, how they can grow their own food and utilize that and be conscious consumers and caring for their land, giving back, all those sides of it. Then we get into Christmas. They do a living nativity at the barn. They ride in on the little pony, and they have the sheep and the goats, and baby Jesus was a kitten this year. I had a doll, and we were too far in, and I'm reading it all, and they're acting it all. And I look up and I was like, you brought the cat, you brought the kitten as baby Jesus. And they just thought that it was the best thing they had ever seen. So we go through that, and have an additional after school program that also meets throughout the entire school year. And then we do horse lessons in the winter season, and then we go from there. And just, it's kind of amazing how it all just keeps going.
So this is life. This is everything for you.
Yes, it is.
You.
Yes, absolutely. I live where I work. I look out and I see the barn that the kids come to, and I can pop in and out. But I think it's so for us here that it's a different style of ministry, but it's how we're making long lasting changes. I really believe that if you want to see change, you have to be willing to invest in our young people, because that's where we're going to see that real meaningful change. My kids that come here don't have time to play on their phones or to sit doing video games. They're busy. I had a parent that was coming and they were touring through and they're like, this is like a real life video game. I was like, oh, I've never heard that before. As the kids are like chasing sheep through the field that had gotten out, and they're like trying to divert and move and like fix a fence. And I very much just sit back and I'm like, you guys figure it out. We have some parameters, like if I know that there's going to like a catastrophe, I'll step in, but otherwise they kind of have learned to struggle through and figure it out. And I do my best to mentor and encourage, yet provide constructive criticism and feedback where I can. And then we have really great conversations that stem from that. And it's just, we see that the world can be changed by one kid. So these are my one kids that I feel like we can really work with. And same with some of our other, activities. We have those kids that we're really working hard to invest well into, to help provide a very strong foundation for them, not taking the place of their family, trying to bring the entire family in together, because they'll leave us and go home. And we want to help encourage and to provide a good place. If we don't mentor these kids, somebody will. Parents can't be with their kids all the time. They will get their mentors from someone. They're looking for someone, and we want to help be those people.
So, which, by the way, I'm just going to say, I love baby Jesus as a kitty cat. I have no problem with that.
It was something.
I'm sure we can do something with that theologically. It's fine. So, I mean, again, this is life for you. These are the kids that come from the middle school, and then and I love the idea of that being their video game,
Right.
and getting them off their phones and engaging in real life.
Right. We have a lot of our own just natural born struggles that happen all the time. I was like, we don't need anything made up. We got plenty just coming out organically by itself.
Now, in your community, do people tend to stay, or do they leave and go to the mainland?
We're a very transit community. So we have the largest Coast Guard base in the nation. And normally they come for 3-year, stays, and then they transition out. Same thing. A lot of people don't retire here in Kodiak. When their kids graduate or they get to retirement age, they go home, somewhere else to retire. So that is really challenging. I would say, we had a person that came through here and like, who are your friends? And I'm like, oh, they move. That's kind of the part of it. But it can make it, challenging. But I think for us, it's been important for us to stay, like for our family here, that we're not short-term missionaries. I'm American Baptist Home Missionary. I was commissioned many years ago. And Stephen, my husband, and we went to visit some friends, and I think we were in Hong Kong or somewhere. And he said, what if we feel called to go somewhere like different? I thought, I never thought about that. And we got there and he's like, do you feel called to this? I was like, absolutely not. And he's like, I don't either. And it was such a great confirmation that we really feel called to be missionaries here in Kodiak, Alaska, and long-term missionaries. And for me, that, coming up as a farm kid, I really wanted to be able to grow this how I knew how to do it. And that's through that farm family feel. And farming in Kodiak's pretty darn unique. It's not normal. It's not a normal situation out here. And so it is.
Do you have to raise your support then, like a regular mission?
All the farm side of things, I volunteer my time to do all that. I'm the assistant executive director. And then I do the child care administrator side. So that is like my paid job at Kodiak Baptist Mission. When I'm over, I do that.
Okay.
And then my boss is like, well, if you can do this other stuff and still get the job done so we can stay licensed and state certified, awesome. And so when it comes to, the farm side and that, I volunteer my time. And then I have in the past had a farm hand. I don't have one right now. So it is me with 10 and 12-year-olds. We're getting it done every day. And they do a pretty darn good job. But sometimes, I say, I'm like, I'm 40. I can feel that a little bit now, more so than I used to be able to. So definitely, if there's anybody out there that wants to be a farm hand, that wants to come up to Kodiak for a year, I'd be thrilled to have some bonus hands. But yeah, it's kind of our everyday all the time.
So is that like your biggest challenge is the being, I mean, like this is life, this is in it, we still have to get our support.
People come and go a lot. It's hard to have people that will stay. I've seen a lot of people come and go. No one here today, besides myself, was here when I started 18 years ago. It's a big revolving door, which is also great. This is a really great training ground for young people. I didn't intend to really come back after I worked my summer. It's one of those things where we want to help train people to go out to do ministry or come serve for a time and then go back to their homes and grow and learn. But it is hard, just especially being so far away and disconnected. It's a challenge to have people want to come and stay and serve for a season. And it's dark in the winter. It's July and it's 50s and cloudy and cold. And so that can be a little challenging too, to have people want to stick around.
So when you come to Space for Grace, is this what you're presenting, is like life in Kodiak? This is what?
Yeah, it's really, I think that, Lisa Harris Lee had a little video, I think that you had posted up, that was really good, talking about different folks serving in their community and how we make that connection between our community and what we are doing, how to bridge that to bring us all together to serve with each other. Very much, how we go about bringing our community in and feeling very connected. I love, somehow we've been able to do this. We don't have any professional sport teams or anything like that here. But I'll hear people randomly talking or different things. They're like, oh, we have a goat dairy in Kodiak. Oh, did you know we have the only like goat milk ice cream? It's not Kelly. It's not Kodiak Baptist Mission. It's we do. And, or, kids will come and they'll talk about my animals, so this is how we do it on our farm. This is how we do it here. It's not Kelly's, it's not Kodiak, it's theirs. And, all of a sudden I have these parents and random community members that are like, we want to be part of this. And I'm not sure we have it figured out on how, but we get to talk about that and just what we're doing. In addition, a lot of the struggles that you also face. I mean, here's kind of the highlight reel, but there's always the not. There's always the stuff that doesn't always make the cut, but that is happening. When you are actively working to serve Christ and to reach out and grab your community, daily you are faced with attacks and difficulty and growing. This year I have learned more just about how much I don't know and how much these kids can teach me, how much our minority populations can teach me, just how at times ignorant I can be. And for us to sit down and say, gosh, we need to have some conversations. And I need to grow, because I have never struggled a day in my life. I'm so sorry that I don't know all these things. And so some of my kiddos that are coming that are struggling with hard times, again, some of our minority families that are coming in, your mind's blown. And so we are learning daily. And I think more so than me like teaching anything, it's saying I'm working alongside here. Here's what we're learning. Here's how we're constantly growing each day. And then to help provide encouragement so we all don't give up, that we can all keep going.
Yeah. So what is like the biggest struggle there that you have?
I kind of joke. I not joke. But when we have a big event or something really great happens, it always seems to be coupled with some type of a, a
Mm,
catastrophe or difficulty that comes, or, just uh, an attack or something, like whether it be like we have a great day and then a shed burns down, or, something happens and then an animal passes away, or
mm,
one of our families is just struggling so much, and this spring we had one of the little boys that has ridden horses with us and was just on at the barn. So it was in the spring here. Their family was just at the barn for one of our community events, and he went missing. And a week later, they found him, and he had died. And that is a horrible struggle that a lot of our kids and families are faced with. And then to sit here and say, I got 25 kids coming to the barn that are pretty confused and are really tired, and all of our community is, small enough that we're rocked by this. It's just, we have a Coast Guard community here. Kids are watching their moms and dads fly off in helicopters and C-130s and big boats, and they're not going to see them for a while. And it's hard, and fishermen families, and we all have our things. It's just it's an interesting dynamic that at times seems to bring about a lot of stressful situations more frequently. So, we just, and we're a disconnected, island. So we'll go weeks and we don't leave. Some kids have never left the island before, we're here. So that it's just an uh, interesting dynamic, I guess, that we're faced with a lot.
yeah. I just want to make sure that I put up the website more than once
Oh, yeah.
for the Kodiak Baptist Mission, so that if others want to go and watch the videos, because the videos are so helpful and informative, and that you can hear your joy in your ministry, that they can go to the kodiakbaptistmission.com. And if they wanted to support the mission, they could also do that as well.
Well, and then they can come and would love to meet everybody at Space for Grace. I do not get to leave very often, but when we get to plan ahead, I'm super excited to be heading down to the Midwest, and would love to see all the people I don't get to see very
So
often.
you have to like take an empty suitcase and go shopping
Oh,
or
yeah.
something. Like, I have to do all these things while I'm.
Yes. My
Well,
sister informed me. She said, Kelly, we might have to get you some new clothes. I don't think your clothes will work. She's like, I don't know that you can wear like stained clothes and holy clothes all the time. I was like, hey now.
I mean, we'll give you a pass, but I mean, if she's gonna take you, then just shopping for Jesus, it's fine.
It's right. It's
It's really,
exactly right.
it's really, really fine.
It makes sense.
So we talked about so much here, but I mean, if you had to put your finger on a couple of things, one thing, the joy question, what brings you,
Right.
in all of this that you do, what brings you joy?
Well, and this is such the cliche answer, but it's really true. Very much Jesus. I grew up with the church. I grew up loving the Lord, but it is just the foundation of everything. And very frequently I'm walking around saying, what is going on, Jesus? Like, how are we going to do this? This is nuts. And then to constantly say, there you are. Oh, thank God, there you are. As I'm falling off a cliff, there you are. And with that, I believe that he's given me the capacity in my heart to want to do this and to show up every day. He's given me the grace and the desire to want to and yearn for it. I don't work with these kids because I have to. My job would still be here if we didn't have one goat or one of my farm and ranch after school kids or one of my farm and ranch internship kids. I mean, I still have a gig, but I just have such a burden for it. And I'll tell you, it brings me joy. Like, I would challenge anybody to come and spend a day with me and to not just overflow. I mean, these kids come at 7:20 in the morning and they're like trying to fill goat bottles and feed 25 baby goats and trying to put sheep. And then you watch a kid that like can shoot a little plastic Nerf bow and arrow off of a horse, and like all of a sudden their world has just been like, I just did that. And I'm constantly being given back and seeing the change. I was so incredibly taken back when a group of my kids wanted to be baptized this year. That was something, and they wanted to be baptized in the barn in a horse trough. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is crazy. But what joy it is to see them growing and wanting to take a step, to not say, we just want you to give to us, but to make that next step to say, no, we know we are Christians, but now, Miss Kelly, we're going to be missionaries too. This, like, we want to make a public profession of our faith so that when people come, we are also commissioned out. And when you're reaching these people, and very much, like, to listen to these kids talk about the different things that we're doing here with our community, I'm just so impressed with all of those little missionaries in there. Not so little. They teach me. They're on it every day. But that brings me an incredible amount of joy, being able to share that, being able to, honestly, just like watching somebody eat an ice cream cone and they're like, oh, this is goat. This is not going to be good. And they're like, this is the best thing. We had our annual crab festival celebration, and we took our ice cream. We sold 150 gallons of ice cream. We didn't have any left, like lines and people, 150 gallons of goat milk ice cream on our little island. And we're just blown away by things like that. So like just moments where our campus is just like hopping with people because of ice cream and baby goats and and this community of collective community coming together. So lots of joy is just there. I get tremendous joy from my family too, just having them along with me. They have very much taken up that calling with us, watching our boys grow up as little missionaries too. My middle son's like, I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. I'm going to do it now, Mom, but I'm moving away when we get older. I'm like, super. It's great. No problem. But it's a daily huge struggle, but I've learned to make the conscious effort to always find the joy. Otherwise you can't continue. Right. And this work is too important to not continue.
Right. It's amazing. One, I've never had goat milk ice cream, so I have to put that on my list of
things. Yes, absolutely.
And just that, so what, 22 or so, you're going, I'm moving to Kodiak, Alaska, and this is going to be my life, and you stayed.
Right.
Which is, in ministry.
We did. I will say we tried to move back to Nebraska, and it lasted 9 months. We bought a house. We got cars. My husband got a job. I was like, this is what we need to do. And we both sat there like a month in, and we're like, we have to go back. This is it. This is where so we had our 4-month-old little Landry, not 4-week-old little Landry on a plane. And we've been, so we had a 9-month stint where we attempted, but golly, we didn't want to spend a second out of the Lord's will in our life, not a second longer than we had to. It was, we just had that feeling that we couldn't spend years. That when you know where you're supposed to be, when you have that peace in your heart, go. Don't wait. Don't wait for a second one. Go. Don't have all the answers. We have to go because people's salvation depends on that. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah.
We love Nebraska, though. I love the Midwest. I miss it. I miss my family and friends dearly, but I also feel such incredible support too.
Well, it's easier for them to come visit you than you. I mean, because then who's going to take care of the goats?
Well, that's right. Exactly.
It's not like they've got goat sitters or what. Yep. I mean, whatever. So we'll just all have to come to.
We would be so thrilled to have everyone. We have extra bedrooms, and if somebody wants to come up for a visit, if they want to stay for a little bit, if they want to get a shot of joy, come on up. We'd love to give it to you.
Okay. Well, I would encourage everybody watching to go to the website and learn more about Kodiak. Google, watch videos because they're there and they do bring you joy. And, the fact that feeding baby goats and ice cream to community, is what brings Jesus to,
Yeah,
to the
for
people.
our annual crab festival parade this year, our kids did it, and we had shirts. I will have a little shirt that I had made, and it said "Goats and Jesus," and the kids were like, "We need that shirt." So I had 20 kids on our float with a goats and Jesus shirt, and they won the grand prize. They're riding around like with goats and their goats and Jesus shirt. All the
Oh my gosh! See, that's so great.
quite the deal.
That's so great. You could make your own swag and sell.
Yeah,
You
there
could
we
sell
go.
swag.
I'll bring some down with us.
Okay, because if you do, like, totally seriously, I'll buy a goat. I'll buy a goats and Jesus shirt and wear it proudly. And I would wear it proudly.
And this is sorry, I know we're going long,
No,
but
it's fine.
goat milk's the most drank milk universally. It's the most it's
Universally.
yep, you go to any other country and they're gonna have goats. My niece just got back from the Dominican Republic and she had some videos and I was like, look at all the goats, McKenna. Like I'm looking at that. I was like, look at all these. Man, if you want to have a solid, amazing foundation to be able to do international ministry, come up here. Let me teach you a few things about goats and you'll have an in. I'll
And
teach you how to do some hoof trimming and some of those techniques. And I promise, anywhere you go, those skills will be so useful for you.
so, do you have other animals besides goats?
Yep, we're full function. Yep, so we have sheep, cattle, goats, chickens, ducks, pigs, cats, dogs, turkeys. We have
Oh my
turkeys.
gosh! So you are a complete farm, EIEIO, and all that stuff.
Yeah, rabbits. Very, very much so. Like I said, we work to help provide a food stability a little bit for our island here that is there, and all at the same time be a training ground. So not only are these kids learning all the inside really good things, they're learning the practical techniques to be able to go. My goal is that if they were to go somewhere, that they could help their community or help other places learn how to have a little homestead and how to survive if need be. Between just a few simple steps, you can really help be an outreach in especially today's time in a very meaningful way. So yeah,
And I
it's
think that's what our kids need more than anything. I mean, I have a middle schooler as well, and so that they come voluntarily,
it's pretty
this
amazing.
isn't punishment,
Yep.
kind of thing, and
So yeah.
and get dirty and hang out with goats and they don't hate their parents for it,
Right. Right. It's
kind
true.
of thing is beautiful. It's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful, and that's the church.
It is. That's so we just had that conversation. So in the middle of the winter, the horses got stuck at the top of the hill and we had a huge rainfall that came after snow and it just made a very big waterfall of ice all the way down. So they couldn't get to their water and they were stuck and the kids all had come and we're standing there. I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. One of the horses tried to get down and it flipped upside down. We watched it flip and slide down. I thought somebody's going to break. It's like, this is a mess. And one of my kids said, let's get all the blankets for the horses and let's make it a path so they can all get down. And I watched all these kids come together for a common purpose. And they put all those blankets together all the way down the hill. And then as the horses would step, they'd go to the back and they'd get the blankets until every last horse made it down the hill. And it was stressful and it was very intense for that time. And I mean, we had 7-year-olds through 14-year-olds all working together collectively. And it really struck me. I was like, this is the church. This is actually what it looks like. That these kids have all come together and they're an extension and they are working hard and they are for a common good, and you're right. They are this is the church. They are working together to help people and animals and hoping to expand that reach.
And I love that the kids, it was their solution.
And as an adult, the biggest part is you have to have the courage to say, oh my gosh, yes, do that. Yes. How can I help you? How can I help you, 8-year-old, do this? Because you have the correct idea. So this is your vision. Teach me because we got to get this done. This is important. And then for the 14 and 15-year-olds to say, yep, 8-year-old, we're ready. Where do we go next? Doesn't matter if you're a girl, doesn't matter if you're a boy, doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're white. Here we are all together. We need your help.
That is, I mean,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a neat, I feel really, I'm thankful to be part of it, I guess.
Yes. And so now I'm going to, along with that bucket list that says, I've got to eat goat ice cream. I guess I'm gonna need to talk to Dr. Hagler or something and figure out a way to get to Kodiak, because
There you go.
I mean, how could you not want to see what God is doing and to just go, this is
The
the
kids have a
kingdom.
little Instagram page called Goats and Jesus. If you ever want to see it, they have their little Instagram page that they've put up, and we have a little Kodiak Goat Dairy Instagram page that we try and keep everybody. If you want to just really see the day in and day out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be their stalker now, because this is awesome. I think it's fantastic. So keep doing the good work, and I'm hoping that people will watch this and see and hear, and you can just feel your love for Jesus and your community, and support your mission, and then come to Space for Grace too, but do all those other things.
I will bring some Goats and Jesus' shirts. I will bring some of those things, and we will give them away. That would be really fun.
Okay, but I want one. So.
Yeah. And you know what?
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll bring some bags of things. Like the kids make their goat milk soap and their goat milk lotions and things like that.
Oh,
so I'll have them put together a few bags for us, and we'll bring them down.
Oh my God, you could totally sell gift bags and.
Well, but it'd be fun to give them away to people that are coming too.
Yes, it would be fun to give. Okay, fine, we'll give it away.
Okay.
I won't take all the goodies because I want people to come and get it too. But thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely.
To do this. This is fun, and now I know about Kodiak Baptist Mission, and can't wait to go. Hey, do you know what's going on in Alaska?
Right.
That's what I love about these conversations, is that afterwards I'm like, hey, do you know what such and such is doing here?
Let me tell you about incredible ministry happening around our country and our world here that stemmed from American Baptist, which is awesome.
I know, and to just get that, how much church there is going on, how much Jesus,
oh my goodness, yes,
is live and in our communities in ways that who would ever thought it would have been the goat ice cream, the baby goats, all of that.
Though, how cool is it for American Baptist, the Home Mission Society, to say that's valuable ministry? We're gonna speak life into that and help support it. Like, how wonderful!
Yeah,
to be so diverse and unique for the areas they are in. It's pretty neat.
And if you can't see it, here, let us help you, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So again, I am so grateful for you for taking this time. I hope everybody comes to Space for Grace and meets you in person, because we'll be there in person.
Yay!
And then supports the mission, because it truly sounds amazing, and I can't wait to go and see it myself.
Yay!
Yeah. So, thank you again.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone for watching us, and hope to see you all in September, and take a trip to Alaska and go visit Kelly and her people and Goats and Jesus.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Yes. All right.
Bye.